Stephen Colbert, the comedian known for his wit and sharp comments, has just caused a stir with a surprising statement. Fans and critics were caught off guard, and strong reactions have poured in from all over. What was it about Colbert's words that caused such a huge stir? Let's find out. But first, let's explore Stephen Colbert's childhood, which partly reveals the reason for his shocking statement. Stephen Tyrone Colbert was born on May 13, 1964, in Washington, D.C., the youngest of 11 children. He grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, but a major tragedy occurred in 1974 when Colbert was just 10 years old. His father and two older brothers died in a plane crash, leaving him devastated. After this event, Colbert became introverted and found solace in books, especially the science fiction and fantasy works of J.R.R. Tolkien. Colbert also faced a health challenge. A botched surgery damaged his right eardrum, and he lost all hearing in his right ear. However, Colbert maintained a positive attitude, even turning this disability into fun by performing with his right ear. He once jokingly shared on The Late Show with David Letterman that his right ear was just a comedy prop. Colbert's passion for comedy and performance began in his teens. At the Episcopal Porter God School in Charleston, he participated in plays, showing his talent and creativity. He initially studied philosophy at Hampton-Sydney College in Virginia, but eventually realized his true love was theater and transferred to Northwestern University to study acting, graduating in 1986. After graduating, Colbert moved to Chicago and joined a Second City comedy troupe, where he started working backstage. While at Second City, Colbert took improv classes and met Amy Sedaris and Paul Dinello, who would become his lifelong career partners. The three collaborated on the comedy show Exit 57, followed by Strangers with Candy, a satire so popular it was adapted into a film in 2005. Stephen Colbert began his prominent television career in 1997 when he joined Jon Stewart's The Daily Show. As a reporter, Colbert developed a conservative reporter persona that he describes as an extreme version of a conservative media commentator. The character, characterized by his naivety, overconfidence, and occasional silliness, became one of the show's most recognizable comedic elements. Colbert easily captivated audiences by combining his overly seriousness with his extreme views, making his political stories both humorous and satirical. Colbert truly rose to prominence and attention through these unique performances. His portrayal of a conservative reporter on The Daily Show was a huge success and earned him a reputation as one of the top comedy stars on television. The show not only taught him how to use comedy to criticize society, but also helped him develop his style of humor, subtle yet sharp. In late 2005, Colbert got his big break when he was assigned to host the Colbert Report on Comedy Central. This was Colbert's solo show, where he continued to develop his trademark conservative humor. On the Colbert Report, Colbert cultivated a hyper-conservative image, peppered with political and social satire, and poked fun at hot-button issues through segments like The Word and Better Know a District. The Colbert Report was not only a rating success, but also a critical success. Colbert has won numerous awards, including Emmys, for his ability to blend humor, social commentary, and sharp political commentary. In the show, he plays a bombastic conservative host who parodies powerful media pundits. With his biting style, the Colbert Report quickly became one of Comedy Central's highest-rated shows, attracting over 1 million viewers per episode in its first week. The Colbert Report is more than just a comedy. It encourages viewers to think more deeply about politics and the media. Colbert plays a character who believes in his arguments exaggeratedly and irrationally, parodying conservative television personalities and exaggerating their common traits. With his serious, confident, and sometimes eccentric demeanor, Colbert's character poked fun at lawmakers and the media in a unique way that was both entertaining and thought-provoking. Colbert's appearance at the 2006 White House Correspondents' Association dinner was a career highlight and a prime example of his bold satirical style. While also mocking reporters and those in the audience, one of the most striking parts was when Colbert said, "I understand that we need to be united, but unity doesn't mean everyone thinks the same. If everyone thought the same, we would become a one-party nation." Such quips left some in the audience speechless. Unafraid to touch on sensitive topics, at the event, in front of President George W. Bush and First Lady Laura Bush, Colbert delivered a blistering speech in which he directly criticized the Bush administration and critics in the media. Throughout the speech, Colbert was unabashed in his sarcasm toward President Bush and the state of politics at the time. The reaction to Colbert's speech was strong and divided. Some in the media and the audience praised his courage and directness, seeing it as a bold move to criticize the government and journalists. They saw it as a great example of using comedy as a tool to create change and promote critical thinking in society. However, some critics said Colbert went too far, disrespected the event, and made the audience feel uncomfortable. Despite this controversy, Colbert's speech at the White House Correspondents' Association dinner helped raise his profile and become an icon of satirical comedy in American political culture. It affirms Colbert's unique style. Someone who is not afraid to confront sensitive issues and uses humor as a way to criticize and shed light on social injustices. The Colbert Report quickly became an icon for Comedy Central and one of the most notable variety shows of the first decade of the 21st century. With his sharp and skillful satire, Colbert not only became a household name, but also received critical acclaim. The show won multiple Emmy Awards, including 2 for Outstanding Variety Program in 2013 and 2014, demonstrating its success and influence in the entertainment industry. In April 2014, after David Letterman announced his retirement after more than 3 decades on The Late Show, CBS announced that Stephen Colbert would succeed Letterman as the next host. This is a significant milestone for Colbert's career, not only because he will be replacing a television legend, but also because The Late Show is one of the most popular and longest-running variety shows in American television history. In an interview after being announced as Letterman's successor, Colbert expressed his deep respect for his predecessor and shared that being a guest on Letterman's The Late Show was one of the biggest highlights of his career. Colbert emphasized that he never thought he would have the opportunity to sit in the chair of a television legend like Letterman, a man he has always respected. He also expressed his gratitude to CBS for entrusting him with this responsibility, not forgetting to joke, "To prepare for this job, I need to grit my front teeth," a humorous way of referring to the pressure he will face when taking over such a big show. The decision marked a major shift in Colbert's career, from a satirical host on Comedy Central to the lead host of a late-night variety show with a completely different style. The move from the Colbert Report to The Late Show marked a major shift in both the format and content of the show, as Colbert went from a humorous, politically satirical character to a full-fledged host, offering deeper, less pointed conversations about social issues. Despite the change in style, however, Colbert has retained his own distinct identity, with subtle humor and a sharp look at the world around him. On September 8, 2015, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert officially debuted. While it initially took The Late Show some time to find its signature style and voice, Colbert has slowly made his mark, transforming from a politically critical comedic host into a late-night host capable of combining humor with depth in his conversations. From the very beginning, Colbert faced many challenges as the show faced enormous expectations from audiences and the television industry. David Letterman, the previous host, was a late-night television legend, and Colbert had to not only maintain Letterman's legacy, but also create a new style for the show, making it relevant to the times and new audiences. After a period of experimentation and tweaking, Colbert found his voice and The Late Show took off, not only retaining its old audience, but also attracting a large new audience. One of the key factors that made the show successful was Colbert's ability to skillfully use political humor, especially in the years since President Donald Trump took office. Colbert has not hesitated to use political humor to criticize Trump's controversial decisions, actions, and statements, making the show an attractive destination for those who want to gain insight into American politics through a humorous lens. In addition to political satire, Colbert also creates unique and entertaining recurring segments like Big Questions with even bigger stars, where he and his guests debate bizarre philosophical theories or interesting questions about the world. Colbert has also consistently paid tribute to his predecessor, David Letterman, who had a profound influence on his career. However, while appreciating Letterman's legacy, Colbert has also brought new, unique elements to his show that have refreshed and renewed The Late Show's appeal. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit in March 2020, late-night television shows, including The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, had to suspend live production due to social distancing restrictions and the safety of their production crews. However, rather than suffer disruption and loss of content, Colbert quickly adapted and found ways to continue his show in creative and entertaining ways. During the social distancing period, when he couldn't film his show in a studio like he normally would, Colbert decided to film his monologues live from home, even from unexpected spaces like his porch, bathtub, and other areas of his house. This was a bold and creative move that not only allowed him to maintain a connection with his audience, but also provided entertaining and engaging footage that fit the new climate of the times. In particular, these scenes also bring more intimacy and friendliness to the audience when they see Colbert no longer as a host in a fancy suit and sitting in a large studio, but as a normal person, filming monologues from his own home. The audience feels more approachable. One of the notable segments during this period is Shawmut Together, where Colbert shares impromptu footage and funny stories about life during the lockdown. He also conducts many remote interviews via video call with guests, helping the show maintain its pace and not be interrupted, despite not having direct interaction with guests like before. Political humor, in particular, remains a staple of his shows during this period. But Colbert also regularly provides commentary and reflections on the pandemic situation, government measures to deal with COVID-19, and stories from the community, which has made his show an indispensable part of the days of social isolation. In June 2023, when Stephen Colbert's contract with CBS was set to expire at the end of the year, there was much speculation about his future as host of The Late Show. However, Colbert officially signed a contract extension with CBS to continue his work until at least 2026. The financial details of the new contract were not publicly disclosed, but estimates from reliable sources put Colbert's salary at the time at around $15 million per year. According to his previous contract, this is an impressive figure, especially in the late-night television industry, where stars like Colbert have maintained strong appeal over the years. Like his prolific career, Colbert's personal life has been memorable. Why? Let's take a look. In 1990, Stephen Colbert was facing a rather tense situation in his relationship. After receiving an ultimatum from his girlfriend, Colbert felt confused and uncertain about the future. Seeking advice, he talked to his mother, who gave him a simple but profound piece of advice. If you don't know for sure, it probably isn't right. His mother's words caused Colbert to reflect and make a big change in his life. That night, while attending a musical premiere at the Spalato Festival, Colbert met a woman who would have a profound impact on his life, Evelyn McGee. Evelyn was a smart, sharp, and very charming woman who would later become Colbert's wife. This meeting marked a significant turning point in Colbert's personal life. From the first time they met, Colbert felt a special connection with Evelyn. The two began to build a relationship, and just a few years later, in 1993, they got married. They have 3 children and built a happy life together. Evelyn McGee, before becoming Colbert's wife, was a lawyer and actress, appearing in several small television productions. However, Evelyn rarely appeared in public and always maintained a rather private life. The relationship between Stephen Colbert and Evelyn McGee is considered one of the most admirable relationships in the entertainment industry. They have always been a couple who support each other in work and personal life. Evelyn is often present at important events of Colbert and is an indispensable companion throughout his career, as well as a part of the interesting stories that Colbert shares on his show. Stephen Colbert and Evelyn McGee have had a very happy and private family life since their marriage in 1990. They have 3 children: Madeline born 1990, Peter born 1998, and John born 2002. While Colbert is one of the most prominent faces on television, his family life has always been kept quite private, away from the media spotlight. Despite his fame on screen and a solid career, Colbert has always considered family and community to be the most important values in life. He and Evelyn both focus on creating a happy home, while maintaining stability in their personal lives, which helps Colbert maintain a balance between work and private life. Colbert has shared in many interviews that one of the things he values the most is spending time with his family. He has always managed to keep his family life quiet and away from the media noise. In fact, unlike some other stars, Colbert rarely shares personal details about his wife and children on television or social media. However, Colbert does not hesitate to share about family affection on his show. He often incorporates topics related to his wife and children into humorous stories, creating warm and close moments with the audience, thereby highlighting the important role of family in his life. The combination of work and family makes Colbert's image more approachable and lovable, and also inspires many people to balance their career and family values. In a 2005 interview with the New York Times, Stephen Colbert shared some of the sweetest and funniest moments in his family. He described himself as a weird person and admitted that his family was goofy in the way they loved and bonded. Colbert said that he often read to his children before bed and loved to cuddle them. "We were goofy," he said, a phrase that reflected the fun and happiness in their family life. As a devout Irish Catholic, Colbert took religious values so seriously in his family. He shared that every Sunday, his family went to church and attended Mass together. In addition, when he had time, Colbert also taught Sunday school, an activity he considered important to educate his children about the faith. Colbert has not hesitated to admit that faith is an important part of his life and has deeply influenced his views on many moral and social issues. He has shared in several interviews that his belief in God gives him a more optimistic and steadfast outlook on life, and also shapes his moral principles. Colbert uses humor as a way to reflect and satirize the world, from a perspective that's both humorous and compassionate. His friendly and down-to-earth tone allows him to have thoughtful conversations about justice and kindness on The Late Show, even dancing with his friend Jon Stewart in the humorous song, "Can I Interest You in Hanukkah?" Despite his talent for making people laugh, Colbert also carries deep pain in his heart due to his childhood family tragedy. As you know above, his childhood was sad. But how did these things affect him? Let's listen to his sharing. In a conversation with Anderson Cooper on the All There Is podcast, Colbert talked about overcoming loss and grief. He recalled that his father and two brothers passed away in a tragic plane crash on September 11, 1974. His father, James Colbert Jr., and his two older brothers, Paul and Peter, were on Eastern Airlines Flight 201 from Charleston to Charlotte, North Carolina. The DC-9, carrying 82 people, malfunctioned while landing and crashed just miles short of the airport, killing 72 people. Colbert, then 10 years old, was faced with a great loss. He recalled how his mother was resilient as she took care of the family after the accident. He learned to love the sad things and appreciate the loss, a perspective that has given Colbert insight, especially on topics related to grief and recovery. The tragedy provided the foundation for Colbert's wry humor and optimistic philosophy, which not only helped him succeed in his career, but also left a positive impact on many audiences around the world. Eastern Airlines Flight 212, carrying Stephen Colbert's father, James Colbert, and his two brothers, Paul and Peter, crashed on September 11, 1974, as it was preparing to land at Dulles Airport in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was a foggy morning, and cockpit recordings showed the crew had become disoriented about altitude. In addition to the weather, however, subsequent investigation reports showed that the pilots had not been paying full attention to the controls, instead becoming distracted by unrelated chatter. The plane crashed about 3 miles short of the runway onto a corn-covered hillside, with only 13 of the 82 people on board surviving. James, Paul and Peter were among the 72 who died in the tragedy. Stephen Colbert, who was just 10 years old, faced an unimaginable loss. He describes this grief as his secret name, a deep secret that represents the deepest pain, a part that cannot be fully shared with anyone. Colbert believes that the secret name contains both magic and pain, helping him understand himself by accepting grief instead of running away from it. He and his mother, Lorna Colbert, worked through this pain together. Colbert shares that his mother, who overcame tragedy without succumbing to bitterness, was an inspiration to him. Because of her example, I am not bitter. Because of her example, she is not bitter. Broken, yes. Bitter, no. Her strength is something Colbert has always respected and tried to emulate. With his father and 2 brothers gone, Colbert began to spend more time with his mother. Immersing himself in books, reading became a comfort, helping him fill the void left by loneliness. He shared that he spent all his allowance on books and wanted to receive books as gifts for every occasion, from his birthday to Christmas. Colbert's love of comedy also stemmed from his desire to make his mother happier. Witnessing her resilience instilled in him a passion for bringing joy to others. As he grew older, Colbert realized that making others laugh was not only a way to overcome personal pain, but also a gift to his mother. He once shared that he desired to see his mother happy again, which drove him to comedy. There's no doubt that I chose this path to make my mother happy. Colbert's comedy career later became a place where he combined his sharp intellect, deep religious beliefs, and a worldview that was both ironic and warm. Despite his immense success, he remained honest and profound in the way he approached the stories of his life. In an interview with Anderson Cooper, Colbert shared that learning to love the bomb was one of the most valuable lessons he learned from loss. For Colbert, embracing and accepting pain is a way to grow, turning loss into strength, a quality that has shaped him as a person and his career. Stephen Colbert, though young when he lost his father and brother, did not confront the pain of loss until years later. When he entered college, he says the loss began to hit him hard during his freshman year, when feelings of emptiness and sadness became more apparent and intense. Entering college weighing about 185 pounds, Colbert recalls that by the end of his freshman year, he weighed only 135 pounds. The sudden weight loss was not only the result of poor eating habits, but also a sign of a psychological state under pressure, which he describes as overwhelming sadness. Colbert believes that the reason his grief did not become apparent while he was at home was because the presence of his mother and familiar memories provided him with a sense of security and comfort, and he left home and faced the reality of his father and brother's absence. The feelings of loneliness and emptiness began to become more obvious. During that time, he began to see his trauma not just as a loss, but as an integral part of who he was. His pain became an inner identity, part of the secret name he once described. The stage became a place where Colbert could escape the darkness of his pain. He turned to the stage as a means of escape and self-discovery. The Stanislavski and Meissner techniques he had learned, which focused on feeling and communicating real emotions, became a way for him to confront and share his deepest feelings. The stage for Colbert was both a place of acting and a place of healing, where he could explore and release the thoughts he had suppressed. Looking back on adulthood, Colbert realized that those moments were a blink of an eye. However, it was those years that laid the foundation for his sensitivity and deep understanding, allowing him to incorporate humor and raw emotion into his unique performance style. As he delved deeper into the world of acting and emotion, Colbert learned to accept and transform pain into strength, which he later conveyed through characters and stories on stage and television. Art helped Colbert find joy and created a space for him to talk to himself. Through each role and humorous story, he used the stage to find his wounded soul. He shared that the stage was not only where he found his voice, but also where he learned to convey pain gently and quietly, bringing empathy to the audience, and perhaps even peace to himself. Stephen Colbert has said that the pain of losing his father and brother was something he had to learn to live with, not eliminate. He likened grief to a wolf at the door, a still but persistent presence. He realized that avoiding or ignoring it only made it stronger, like a ghost that never went away. But, unlike fear, he decided to open the door to it and live with it, making it an integral part of himself. Colbert credits his mother, Lorna, with helping him develop a positive and grateful outlook on life. She experienced the great loss of her husband and sons, but instead of wallowing in bitterness, she inspired Stephen with the philosophy that life should be lived with gratitude, even when it was a gratitude for hardship and pain. She taught him that pain is not necessarily a bad thing. Instead, it's part of a spiritual journey, a gift from God. When his mother died in 2013, Colbert lost the last person he had to bond with in his painful past. Lorna died at the age of 92, and Colbert took time off to care for her in her final days, turning their home life into a fun and lively stage. In his tribute, Colbert emphasized that if audiences enjoyed his show, it was largely thanks to his mother. She spent her life as a beacon of love for her children, especially in her final moments, remembering her favorite prayer that she used to put them to sleep. For Colbert, she was the light of his life, and her love gave him the strength to face all the pain. Colbert's famous conversation with Anderson Cooper about grief and loss provided insight into how he dealt with tragedy. He shared that through grief, we learn to recognize and empathize with the pain of others, which opens the door to deeper love and understanding of an important part of human life. He asked the rhetorical question, "What do you get from loss?" Colbert asserted that it is the loss that enables us to love more and connect more deeply with those around us. Since its debut in 2005, the Colbert Report has been notable not only for its humor, but also for the profound cultural impact that Stephen Colbert has had through his satirical character. What makes Colbert special is his boldness in using laughter to criticize and provoke thought. He uses his character to shine a light on the extremes and dangers of divisive, inflammatory media and political strategies. One of the most notable stories of how he did this was when he spoke at the 2006 White House Correspondents' Conference dinner in front of President George W. Bush. At that event, Colbert did not hesitate to make bold satires about the Bush administration, bias, and media failures. The speech was considered extremely sharp and controversial, but it also made Colbert's name synonymous with his ability to speak the truth through satire. In his popular recurring segment, The Word, Colbert developed his approach to political satire by presenting his monologue with bullet points that appeared next to it to describe the absurdity in the way many people receive and disseminate information. Colbert's creativity did not stop there, but also inspired a generation of comedians and satirists who followed him. John Oliver, Hassan Minhaj, and shows like Last Week Tonight and Patriot Act all built on the foundation of combining humor and information that Colbert pioneered. Oliver has publicly acknowledged Colbert's influence, saying that Colbert showed how comedy can be used to explore complex issues without making them trivial. Colbert has also become a part of public culture, not only on television, but also in dictionaries and social media culture. The word truthiness was quickly named the 2000s Word of the Year by Merriam-Webster, a testament to Colbert's influence on the language. He not only coined the term, but also inspired movements and discussions about how news and media shape social perception. For Colbert, satire is not just humor, but a powerful tool that can make audiences think and reflect. In an interview with Rolling Stone, he shared, "Satire only works when the listener realizes they are part of the joke, when they realize there are truths they have been ignoring." In this way, the Colbert Report achieves more than just laughs. It helps audiences reconsider how they consume and analyze information, prompting a subtle but powerful shift in public discourse. What do you think about his working style? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting updates. Thank you, and see you in the next video.